Now, imagine there was one thing that could undoubtedly give away whether you are a good or bad, an experienced or unexperienced UX writer. Well, this one thing exists. It's an essential skill in UX writing that many don't have. And today I will tell you how to train that skill in a fast, easy, and fun way. So if you're ready, let's go. Hello, my name is Kat and I teach people about writing in tech, and on this channel you will find everything that you need to know, especially about UX writing. So if you want to learn more about all of that, make sure to hit subscribe and ring the bell. And if you want some in-depth UX writing knowledge or even earn a certificate, make sure you check out my UX writing online courses. They will give you profound and hands-on practical knowledge starting at only $29, and you can find them on writewithdrkat.com. Link is also in the description box below. Now, one of the very specific mistakes that I see new UX writers usually make is they struggle with voice and tone, and they do so in two ways. Number one, they fail to identify a brand's voice accurately. What does that mean? Well, when we're presented with a certain brand voice, let's say this one right here, we easily get tempted to describe it as human, friendly, professional, empathetic, whatever, okay? Because it is, right? Yes, that's right, but that's kind of how your UX copy should always sound on a professional website or a professional app. So if you conduct a copy audit and that's how you describe the voice and tone that is used, you didn't quite get to the core of that voice. And that is a problem, because that means that when you start a new job with a new company and you are being asked to write UX copy using that brand voice of that new company, you will probably not be able to do it because you cannot identify the essence of it and the factors that make this voice. You might get the vibe of it, but it is too vague to help you make specific writing decisions, right? And it's all very intuitive when it should actually be rule-based. And that is number two of how many UX writers struggle with voice and tone. So struggle number one is analyzing a specific brand voice, and struggle number two is actually applying a specific voice and tone accurately. And what I am going to show you today is a very simple framework that you can use to handle both struggles, okay? But for that, we have to shift our perspective a little bit, because for us humans, communication is something that is usually very intuitive, right? Which is also why it can be difficult for us to detect formal patterns in communication. So for one moment, I want you to think of a text element as a mathematical formula, okay? Like an equation. And we want to think of a formula that consists of several different stylistic parts. For UX writing, such parts can be, for example, the kind of adjectives and adverbs that we use, the kind of punctuation that we use, if and what kind of exclamations we use, so words like oops, yay, or whoa, if and what kind of mental relaxers we use, so phrases like don't worry, if and what kind of metaphors and figures we use, so whether or not our language is more figurative or, more factual, and ultimately the kind of syntax, so the sentence structure that we use. So these are the factors that can have an impact on our voice and tone. There are also other parts of our copy that do not have an impact on our voice, but these factors right here do have an impact on our voice. Now, let's play around with it a little bit, shall we? Let's see what this looks like in practice. Now, we could, for example, write no page found. Use the search to find what you're looking for with 2 full stops. Or we could switch up the punctuation a little bit like this, using an ellipsis and an exclamation mark, which makes it sound a little more, assertive. Or we take it back to the original version and add an exclamation like, oops, no page found. Use the search to find what you're looking for, which makes it sound a little more playful. Or we can take that back to the original and add a mental relaxer. For example, no page found, but don't worry, use the search to find what you're looking for, which makes it sound a little more caring and compassionate. Or we can take it back to the original and add some adverbs like no page found. Simply use the search to find what you're looking for, which makes it sound a little more casual. Or we could take it back to the original, you see what we're doing here, and use some metaphors like seems like this page is off the track. Use the search to find your way back, which first of all rhymes and second makes it sound more creative. Or we could take it back to the original and switch up the syntax a little bit. So the sentence structure, like since no page was found, you can use the search in order to find what you're looking for, which makes it sound a little more formal. So this is how we make our copy sound assertive, playful, compassionate, casual, creative, or formal, okay? In a professional, strategic way, with intentionally using these factors as a tool to adjust our copy's tone. Now, let's use this framework. Let's see how this can help us learn more about a brand voice, and let's check out a real-life example. Now, what you can see here is an empty state text that can be found in the shopping bag of the apple.com online shop, and it says, your bag is empty. Sign in to see if you have any saved items, or continue shopping. And we have sign in and continue shopping. So this is pretty subtle and neutral, right? Is there even a voice and tone? Maybe let's compare it to a similar text element coming from another brand. This right here is the same text element coming from the Samsung online shop. And it says your cart is empty. Sign in to see if you have some saved items in the cart. And again, sign in and continue shopping. Almost the same, right? Well, almost. The only thing that we see a slight difference in is the choice of words, because Apple says bag, Samsung says card, right? But more importantly, a huge difference can be found in punctuation. 3 full stops in Apple's version, while Samsung uses none. And that makes Samsung sound a lot more conversational, approachable, informal, almost natural, right? While Apple sounds cooler, more elegant, a little more technical, a little more distant even. So now you know how to spot tiny differences in very similar brand voices. And if you're being asked to write copy for Apple, you now know one important ingredient to achieve that signature tone. And we can actually see a similar voice and tone representation in their 404 era. Here's Apple saying the page you're looking for can't be found, search Apple or see our sitemap. Again, straightforward, elegant, distant, cool. And then we have Samsung saying, sorry, the page you're looking for is not available. Please go to our homepage to see what's new or use the links below to explore our site. And here you can see a big difference, right, in the syntax that is used. So the sentence structure that is used, and also a difference in adverbs because Samsung uses please, for example, and Apple doesn't. Now let's take a look at another example and let's go for one that shows a bigger difference, right? And for this, we will not look at UX writing, but at copywriting because that is where we can really see the brand voice shine. This right here is the hero header on the website of N26, which is a digital-only neobank, saying the bank you will love. Money made beautifully simple. Spend, save, and invest in one intuitive app that's trusted by millions. And then we can open a free bank account. Now, this is perfect to show you how adjectives and adverbs shape a brand voice, okay? Because a look at those adjectives and adverbs here. We have beautifully, simple, intuitive, trusted, very soft-spoken, right? Focused on positive emotions, yeah? It creates a very soft, easygoing, nice tone, creating an atmosphere that is just warm and nice, right? Now, let's take a look at one of their competitors, Revolut. They have a different brand voice and thus use different adjectives and adverbs to basically describe a very similar product with similar features, as you can see here. And this says, change the way you money. For those who want more from their money, there's Revolut. Sign up for free in a tap. So as adjectives and adverbs, we have for free and in a tap. So here we are focused not on, the nice things that feel good, but on performance and efficiency. We want it in a tap and we want more. So this is way sharper and more performance driven, more efficiency driven, which we can also see by the small overall number of adverbs and adjectives in total and the overall short length of this text element. This is short and efficient, right? Now, let's take a look at another example coming from another competitor of them called Wise. And they say, the hassle-free international business account. Sign up for the business account with no hidden charges, high rates, or monthly fees. Pay employees, get paid, and manage your cash flow overseas, all in one place. And here we see the adjective hassle-free, and we see phrases like with no hidden charges and in one place, which creates a stress-free, hassle-free, relaxed, don't worry kind of tone, which again represents a completely different brand voice than the two examples that we have seen before. So this is what we can do with adverbs and adjectives to create a different tone. So that's also a very useful and powerful tool. And by the way, if you still struggle with finding the right adjectives and verbs, you might want to check out this video right here, where I show you how to strategically build a word list for your very brand. So you have now seen examples for how using these 6 aspects first of all, can help you analyze a brand voice when you want to write UX copy for a certain brand or you want to conduct a copy audit. So the next time that you want to create a fictional case study using the examples of a real brand, or you start a new job in a company and try to understand their voice and tone, try using these factors as categories and describe them, okay? For example, for a brand voice like the Wise brand voice, we could create something like this. The adjectives and adverbs should be something like hassle-free, worry-free, smooth, effortless, convenient, and everything that is similar to that, okay? The kind of punctuation that is used should be very tuned down. Mostly full stops, few commas, few hyphens, barely exclamation marks. Also, we use no exclamations at all for this brand, but yes, we could use mental relaxers. We don't see them right here, but they would definitely be, a good match. And if we use some, we will probably use some mental relaxers related to easiness, simplicity, and low effort. Like, for example, it only takes a few clicks or something like that. However, we don't use a lot of metaphors and figures. We keep it simple, direct, and literal. And ultimately, we use simple sentence structures and we use short sentences, except for maybe enumerations, as we can see in our example. Now, this is of course only a short overview, and to fully grasp and understand the voice of a brand, please analyze as many text elements as you can and also make sure to detect the variations in tone, because the tone on our hero stage might be different than the settings section in our app, okay? That's also something that needs to be put in your voice and tone guidelines. And depending on the specific brand voice that you're looking at, you might also take this category system and add some more categories to it. For example, personalization. So whether you say hello or you say, hey cat, please add your personal details, or cat, your report is ready. Or it could be, the use of rhetorical questions, or it could be the kind of user addressing. So does a brand say, good morning, Dr. Grimm? Or do they say, hey cat, what's up? These are categories that you might want to add if you need them. And of course, depending on the brand that you're looking at, you can also add others. But overall, using these categories will help you recognize and describe a brand voice more specifically in a way that actually allows you to work with a voice and its different tones, which is far more practical and helpful than describing a brand voice by just saying, our brand is friendly and empathetic, okay? Don't do that. That is too vague. That is not specific enough because it leaves too much room for interpretation, okay? So I hope this was helpful, another framework for you to write UX copy in a strategic and structured and professional way. Let me know in the comments if this was useful for you, okay? Also make sure you hit like and subscribe if this video was indeed helpful. And make sure you check out writewithdrkat.com for my online courses and services, which are even more helpful. And also, if you like, follow me on Instagram for more tips and tricks about writing in tech and UX writing in particular. And other than that, there's nothing left to say for me except Keep on writing, enjoy the process, and I hope to see you sometime soon.